Welcome back to Crime Vlog Weekly from London, UK. I'm your host and content creator. My name is Hartley. How you doing? This is your weekly crime vlog channel that aims to expose the dark side of society. This episode covers the true crime updates from USA, Alaska, Jamaica, Australia, South Africa, and the UK.
Australia. Two men accused of murdering a Colombian national flew from Brisbane to Melbourne on the day of the killing after a young woman coordinated his attendance at an address, police allege. The fresh details emerged as two of Sergio Andres Cuesta's accused murderers faced Melbourne Magistrates Court on Wednesday. Cuesta, 28, was last seen when he was dropped off by a friend at a Jabiru Drive address in Chelsea Heights, southeast of Melbourne, on September 16, police say. His body has not yet been found. Sarah Monique Tilley, 22, and Jared Stewart Baker, 25, were extradited from Brisbane to Melbourne earlier this week, to face justice in Victoria. Tilley's lawyer told the court on Wednesday it was her client's first time in custody, as she made no application for bail and upcoming dates were set. Baker's lawyer Jordana Fayman was asked by the magistrate if he was applying to bail, to which she said, "No, it's a charge of murder." Prosecutor Jessica Van Dyk said police were looking through CCTV, telephone intercepts, and analyzing DNA. She asked for 6 weeks to compile a brief of evidence before it is handed to the defense. Tilley and Baker were remanded in custody and will next face court on April 24. Baker and another co-accused, Hubba Alb Stanley Paul, 25, allegedly flew from Brisbane to Melbourne on September 16 and returned the following day, court documents revealed. Meanwhile, Tilley is accused of murder, having coordinated his attendance at the address and the last person to speak to him, the documents said. Paul and a fourth co-accused, Michael Jeffrey Frankland, 49, from Mt Eliza in Victoria, will also face court on April 24. I hope this video is bringing to you some value. Please subscribe and share our crime videos. This is a murder case out of Jamaica that we will be watching closely and reporting updates. According to Deputy Police Commissioner Fitz Bailey, a post-mortem revealed that 3 bullet fragments were found in her body, causing the police to open a murder investigation. Following the reports, her husband declared his innocence and denied any involvement in her murder. However, he was questioned by police and his firearm was seized for testing. Reports have also surfaced that Jolyon made adjustments to the couple's bedroom after her death, painting the walls, destroying the bed, and retiling the floor. Former Member of Parliament, MP, for Western St Mary, Jolyon Silveira, who is charged with the murder of his wife, Melissa, is to make his first appearance in the Home Circuit Court in downtown Kingston on Thursday. Director of Public Prosecutions, DPP, Paula Llewellyn confirmed on Wednesday that one of her senior deputies will enter a voluntary bill of indictment to transfer the case from the parish court to the High Court. More details relative to the case are likely to be outlined in court at that time. The 52-year-old People's National Party, PNP, politician who is a land developer by profession, was charged last Friday with murder following weeks of investigations into the high-profile homicide case. It was initially reported that Melissa died in her sleep at her Stony Hill, St Andrew home on November 10, but the police upgraded their probe to one of murder after the post-mortem report revealed that her body had at least 3 bullet fragments. Jolyon Silveira, the former Member of Parliament who is charged with the murder of his wife, is to return to court on April 11, where a bail application will be made on his behalf. Who is Melissa? Silveira was the wife of former People's National Party, PNP, Member of Parliament Jolyon Silveira. She was found dead in the couple's Stony Hill, St Andrew, home on November 10, 2023. It was initially assumed that she had died from natural causes, but police had launched a murder investigation weeks after she had died. Chicago. A federal judge today sentenced a man to 20 years in prison for detonating a pipe bomb at a suburban Chicago train station. On September 1, 2006, Thomas James Zajac placed a pipe bomb in a trash can at the BNSF railway station in Hinsdale, Illinois. The device exploded during the morning commute, injuring a station agent. U.S. District Judge Matthew F. Kennelly imposed the sentence during a hearing in federal court in Chicago. Judge Kennelly ordered that the sentence must be served after the completion of a federal sentence that Zajac is currently serving for bombing a public library in Salt Lake City. Today's sentence was announced by Morris Pasquale, acting United States Attorney for the Northern District of Illinois, and Christopher Amorn, Special Agent in charge of the Chicago Field Division of the U.S. Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. Valuable assistance was provided by the Hinsdale Police Department, DuPage County, Illinois, Sheriff's Office, U.S. Secret Service, U.S. Postal. Evidence at Zajac's federal trial in Chicago last year revealed that Zajac felt disrespected when a family member was arrested by Hinsdale police in the year before the bombing. About a month after the bombing, Zajac sent an anonymous letter to the Hinsdale Police Department, stating that the police had expletive with the wrong person and that the writer had fired a warning shot last month. The letter indicated that police actions would likely eventually lead to the death of at least one person in Hinsdale, and that the writer wanted to see whether the department was bright enough or possess Ed, the character, to stop this death. Zajac, 70, formerly of Oak Brook Terrace, Illinois, was convicted on all 3 counts against him, including 1 count of attempting to damage property with an explosive, 1 count of possessing an unregistered destructive device, and 1 count of willfully making a threat through the mail to kill or injure a person with an explosive. We appreciate you watching our crime videos. Help us to expand our reach to a wider audience on the YouTube network. Please subscribe below. 5 people have been arrested and charged by Met officers after a large quantity of cannabis was seized at Stansted Airport. The Met's investigation was led by officers from a new proactive policing team based in Hayes. The team are focused on tackling the most serious offences and organised crime in West London. 2 shipments of cannabis, totaling 390 kilograms and with a street value of $3.9 million, were seized at Stansted Airport by Border Force officers on the 26th and the 27th of January. A previous shipment of 300 kilograms of a substance believed to be cannabis was delivered to an address in Hayes on the 11th of January and was also linked to the investigation. Working at pace following these seizures, Met officers executed warrants on the 1st of February at industrial units in Hayes and Northolt. 3 men and 1 juvenile were arrested in Hayes. 1 man was arrested in a van which was stopped by police in Northolt. The men from West London, aged between 28 and 58, were charged with importing cannabis under the Misuse of Drugs Act 1971. They appeared at Willesden Magistrates Court on Saturday the 3rd of February, where they were remanded in custody to appear at Harrow Crown Court on Friday the 1st of March. A 5th male, aged 17, also appeared at Willesden Magistrates Court charged with importing cannabis. He was released on bail. Drugs ruin lives, that's why the Met is committed to transforming how we keep communities safe. Read more about how we are responding to local priorities with a new Met for London. Maybe now is a good time to subscribe and share our videos. We are looking to reach 50,000 subscribers. South Africa. Police Minister Baki Cele has presented the latest crime statistics for South Africa, covering the first quarter of the 2023-2024 administrative year. The latest stats show a positive turn for many of South Africa's more problematic crime categories. Violent crime like murder is tracking lower in the first quarter compared to the same period last year, with 6,228 murders recorded vs 6,424 murders in the previous period. Sexual offences are also down 2%, while carjacking has also eased, down 6.4% year-on-year. However, while these crime categories are not as bad as they were in Q1 2022-23, the numbers are still alarmingly high. 6,228 murders over a period of 3 months is a staggeringly high number, averaging 68 murders a day in the country. Other violent crimes such as attempted murder, common assault, and assault with the intent to cause grievous bodily harm also tracked higher over the period, leading to the contact crimes category jumping by 4.8%. More positively, the contact-related and property-related crimes categories tracked lower over the quarter, with South Africa seeing a significant drop in robberies at non-residential premises and burglaries at homes. Crimes detected due to police action have also climbed significantly, indicating a more active and effective police force working to stop crime. Causes of crime levels have been attributed to poverty, problems with delivery of public services, and wealth disparity. The Institute for Security Studies also highlighted factors beyond poverty and inequality, particularly social stress from uncaring environments in early childhood and subsequent lack of guardianship. Anchorage, Alaska. An Arizona man was sentenced to 10 years in prison for his role in an international drug trafficking ring targeting Alaska. According to court documents, Joel Ruscone, 30, of Yuma, Arizona, was a member of Miguel Guevara's drug trafficking ring that smuggled over a dozen kilos of meth, heroin, and cocaine from Mexico into Alaska for 6 years. As part of his role in the enterprise, Ruscone sold heroin for the organization in Alaska and sent wire transfers to Guevara's co-conspirators and suppliers in Mexico. Ruscone had 4 felony convictions in the state of Arizona prior to this case, including theft, possession of a dangerous drug, and 2 convictions for attempted unlawful use of means of transportation. In the 2017 theft case, Ruscone and 2 other men robbed a gas station in Yuma, Arizona, at knife point, all wearing masks over their faces. 3 other defendants in this case have already been sentenced or pleaded guilty. Miguel Guevara, aka Harvey, 40, has entered a plea of guilty and it is awaiting acceptance from the court. Serena Joseph, 41, pleaded guilty to drug conspiracy and money laundering and was sentenced to 18 months imprisonment. 4 additional co-defendants are believed to be at large in Mexico. These prosecutions mark another milestone in our fight against criminals who come to Alaska from outside to traffic dangerous drugs that harm our communities, said U.S. Attorney S. Lane Tucker for the District of Alaska. Dismantling drug trafficking organizations is a priority for my office, and we will continue to partner with law enforcement to keep drugs out of our state and keep Alaskans safe. The FBI Anchorage Field Office, U.S. Coast Guard Investigative Service, PGIS, and the Drug Enforcement Administration Seattle Field Office led the investigation, with support from the Anchorage Police Department, Homeland Security Investigations Cells, Arizona Office, U.S. Customs. This investigation and prosecution are part of the Organized Crime Drug Enforcement Task Force, OCDETF, which identifies, disrupts, and dismantles the highest-level drug traffickers, money launderers, gangs, and transnational criminal organizations that threaten the United States by using a prosecutor-led, intelligence-driven, multi-agency approach that leverages the strengths of federal, state, and local law enforcement agencies against criminal networks. We really appreciate your company watching our crime videos. Help us to grow to 50,000 subscribers by hitting the button below and sharing. A nurse who sexually assaulted an 85-year-old woman in her home has been jailed for 4.5 years. Stephen Hicks, 60, was one of the healthcare professionals who had been providing care to a woman after she was released from hospital following a fall. On the 5th of January, 2022, wearing medical clothing and disguised with a surgical mask and thick-rimmed glasses, he made an unscheduled evening visit. Hicks denied the assault, but a jury found him guilty after the Crown Prosecution Service presented forensic and phone evidence linking him to the offense. Hicks' DNA was found to match that found on the woman's body and clothing, and phone location data disputed his claim he was at home that night, indicating he was more likely to have been near the woman's address. This evidence was supported by a detailed account from the victim about what happened to her, and footage from her video doorbell confirming someone had come to her home that evening. Hicks had accessed the woman's clinical records several times while she was receiving out-of-hospital care, often when he was on annual leave and had no reason to check them. The woman had cancelled any further evening care on the 4th of January, however, Hicks visited her the next evening having checked her records again that day. Crown Prosecution Service lawyer Shilpa Shah said, "This was a shocking crime carried out by someone in a trusted profession." Stephen Hicks knew the victim was vulnerable and that no other carers were due to visit her that evening, and he used his position to gain access to her home to assault her, in her own bedroom. Hicks denied the charges against him, but we were able to present evidence to the court clearly linking him to the assault. His DNA matched that found on the victim and her clothing, and his phone data placed him near her home at the time of the offense. He will now spend time in prison for his crime. A man who blackmailed women and children into engaging in degrading sexual acts has today been jailed. Anthony Burns, aka Danny Burns, 39, has been sentenced to 24 years imprisonment plus a 5-year extended license for 41 offenses including blackmail, causing a child to engage in sexual activity, causing sexual exploitation of a child and making and distributing indecent images of a child. The CPS authorized the charges against Burns, formerly of Lowestoft in Suffolk, following a National Crime Agency (NCA) investigation. Between May 2018 and March 2021, the defendant, who has a history of sexual offending and was subject to a sexual harm prevention order at the time, created a number of accounts and false online personas to target vulnerable women, 3 of whom were underage, on dating sites. Burns would then immediately ask them to transfer the conversation to WhatsApp, where he would start to request nude imagery from them. Once he had obtained these images from the victims, he would use them as leverage to blackmail them. Burns would threaten to publicize and share the victims' images if they didn't engage in increasingly more degrading and demeaning sexual acts for him. Some instances, Burns sent other indecent images of children to victims and made requests for them to abuse children or perform sexual acts with animals. Much of Burns' techniques to blackmail victims was learnt from a now-convicted sex offender, Abdul Ilahi, who taught Burns what to say and gave him scripts that he used with victims. The investigation identified 40 victims of Burns' offending around the world, with most victims based in the UK. When Burns was arrested at his home address, various digital equipment, including phones, were seized, which provided a wealth of digital evidence linking the defendant to the offences, including chat logs, more than 1,000 IIOC, and extreme pornography involving sexual activity with animals. The prosecution used this evidence to build a compelling case against Burns, which led to his conviction. He admitted 39 offences and was found guilty by a jury of 2. Bethany Rain, specialist prosecutor for the CPS, said, "Anthony Burns had an obsessive interest in controlling women and children into performing increasingly degrading sexual acts online for his own gratification. Burns belittled and humiliated women. They became trapped in a web of fear where their own images became tools of manipulation and extortion, leaving them vulnerable to his depraved demands." His conviction sends a clear message that the CPS is committed in bringing offenders like Burns, who sexually abuse and exploit victims, to justice, wherever that abuse takes place. NCA Operations Manager Robert Slater said, "Anthony Burns was a revolting sexual offender. My first thoughts go out to his victims, many of whom showed immense courage by providing vital evidence to secure his conviction. The control he sought over them, some of whom were young children, was sinister, manipulative and heartless. Cases like these harden the NCA's determination to pursue the highest harm sexual offenders, including those who use technology nefariously, attempt to hide their activities, and make them accountable for their disgusting crimes. Anyone being pressured or threatened into sending sexual images or videos online should try to remove themselves immediately from the conversation, not respond further to any contact, and report the matter to police. You are not alone, you are not to blame, and help is always available."
Hello, welcome back. How can we stop violent crime worldwide? It's a complex problem that demands comprehensive solutions. First, let's look at the preventions. Education is a key, by empowering youth with knowledge and supporting them with positive opportunities. We can steer them away from a life of crime. By prevention alone is not enough. We must also address the root cause of violence: poverty, inequality, and a limited access to basic resources contributing to crime rates. Moreover, empowering communities is crucial. When citizens are involved in decision-making processes and feel us, they become partners in crime prevention. But we must go even further. Reintegration programs are essential for offenders. By eradicating these social economic disparities, we can create a more just and peaceful world. Law enforcement plays a vital role in maintaining safety. So let's invest in it wisely. We need to strengthen international cooperation, sharing best practices and confirming efforts to tackle violent crime on a global scale. Reintegration programs are essential for offenders. By providing them with the necessary tools, we can break the cycle of violence and give them a second chance at law-abiding life. We can create a safer world for ourselves and the future generations. Thank you for watching this video. Okay, moving on to drug-related crimes. This is something that affects most families around, and it's a growing concern. How can we reduce it, or should I say, how can we stop it? I think it's impossible to stop, but we can reduce it considerably. To combat drug gangs effectively, it is crucial to address the root causes that drive individuals into the clutches, and providing resources to communities battling poverty can help break the cycle of violence and addiction. By understanding the complexity of drug gangs and their global impact, we can work together to create a safer world. Drug gangs. You may have heard of them in movies or in the news, but the truth is here. From the streets of Mexico to the slums of Brazil, drug gangs are the major threat to society, spreading violence and corruption wherever they go. These criminal organizations are fueled by the lucrative drug trade, engaging in production, trafficking, and the sale of illegal substances. Drug gangs have established networks that span across continents, supplying drugs to markets around the world.
San Diego, USA. Gabriel Joseph Gonzalez of Pomona, California was sentenced in federal court today to 12 years in prison for sex trafficking a 15-year-old girl in early 2023. Gonzalez pleaded guilty in July 2023 to one count of sex trafficking of a minor. The victim was a runaway living at a group home in Los Angeles County when Gonzalez began trafficking her. Gonzalez had known the victim since. He enticed her to leave the group home to engage in commercial sex work for Gonzalez's financial benefit. He then transported the victim to San Diego and forced her to walk areas known for prostitution on Dalbegia Street in San Diego and Roosevelt Avenue in National City. During January 2023, Gonzalez forced the victim to engage in commercial sex work every day for 7 straight days except for the victim's 16th birthday. He allowed her to take that day off. The victim escaped by calling 911. She was rescued by the San Diego Police Department on January 26, 2023, and the case was turned over to the San Diego Human Trafficking Task Force. Even after entering a guilty plea in July 2023, Gonzalez attempted to continue to traffic the victim while in custody through jail calls. U.S. District Judge Larry Allen Burns pronounced the 12-year sentence, noting Gonzalez's absolute lack of remorse in his conduct while in custody and his continued victimization of the minor. The victim's courage to call 911 in this case was extraordinary, said U.S. Attorney Tara McGrath. Her trust in law enforcement demonstrated that when someone reports abuse, the public servants in this community are all hands on deck to bring abusers to justice. Human trafficking and sexual exploitation of a minor is inexcusable, said Attorney General Rob Bonta. At the California Department of Justice, we are fighting to hold perpetrators accountable and help survivors get a fresh start. I'm thankful to all our partners for their collaboration in the California DOJ-led San Diego Human Trafficking Task Force. I'm proud of our office's work to help uplift vulnerable Californians. When we work together, we get results. The vital work being done by local and federal partners on the Human Trafficking Task Force to combat sex trafficking cannot be quantified, said FBI San Diego Special Agent in Charge Stacey Murray. The violence or coercion that is committed against sex trafficking victims can have a lasting negative impact on the victim, their families, and the community for years to come. If you are living or working under threat of violence or extortion, or you suspect someone else may be, call the National Human Trafficking Resource Center toll-free, 24/7 hotline, call 888-373-7888 or text BIFREE or 233733. We appreciate you watching our crime videos. Please subscribe below and share this video to your friends and family. Help us to expand our reach across the YouTube network. Drug cartels and gangs.
They are organized, well-funded and ruthless. But what drives these individuals to join gangs is poverty. Young people are lured by promises of power and wealth, only to find themselves trapped in a dangerous world. The consequences of drug gang activities are staggering. Communities suffer from increased violence, drug addiction, and a breakdown of social fabric.
Detectives are appealing for information after a teenager was stabbed in Harrow on Saturday. At around 19:00 hours on Saturday, the 10th of February, police were called to Masons Avenue, HA3 following a report of an assault. Officers attended alongside the London Ambulance Service and the 18-year-old victim was taken to hospital with stab injuries. She has since been discharged and is being supported by her family. Detective Inspector Nicola Hannant, who is leading the investigation, said, "This was a shocking and violent attack and we continue to support the victim and her family as she recovers from her injuries. Since the incident occurred, we have been working tirelessly to identify those responsible and are making good progress with our investigation. We have already arrested 4 people, however we continue to appeal for anyone who may have been in the area or who believes they have further information to come forward and speak to us. We have increased police patrols in the area and would encourage people to approach these officers with any information or concerns. Anyone with information should call 101 with reference 6306 10 February. Drug prevention and tactics by law enforcement.
Law enforcement agencies and governments worldwide are engaged in constant battle to dismantle these criminal networks. Infiltrating drug gangs, seizing illicit substances, and arresting key members are some of the tactics employed. But it is a difficult and ongoing fight. Investing in education, creating job opportunity, and keeping people off the streets.
Corpus Christi, Texas. A federal jury in Corpus Christi has returned a guilty verdict against a 38-year-old man for transporting illegal aliens within the United States, announced U.S. Attorney Alamdar S. Hamdani. The jury deliberated for approximately 90 minutes before convicting Ilisul Carcasses following a 2-day trial that included 10 witnesses. On November 13, 2023, Carcasses drove a refrigerated box truck to the Sarita Border Patrol (BP) checkpoint. Upon initial inspection, AK-9 alerted to the rear of the truck. During a search, authorities discovered 5 undocumented individuals concealed inside the back of the vehicle, hidden amongst pallets of rotten produce. The jury heard how the individuals were locked inside with no way of escaping. Carcasses denied having keys to open the rear of the vehicle. However, authorities had discovered the keys in the truck's cab. Evidence also showed that his cell phone was present at the location where the undocumented individuals were loaded into the vehicle. The defense attempted to convince the jury that Carcasses was unaware the undocumented individuals were concealed in his truck. The jury did not believe those claims and found him guilty as charged. U.S. District Judge David S. Morales presided over the trial and set sentencing for May 8. At that time, Carcasses faces up to 5 years in federal prison and a possible $250,000 maximum fine. Carcasses was permitted to remain on bond pending sentencing. Washington, Stephen Claude Rattigan, also known as Julius James, 48, of Washington, D.C., has been charged with assault with intent to kill while armed, assault on a police officer while armed, and possession of a firearm during a crime of violence following the shooting of 3 Metropolitan Police Department officers and an hours-long standoff in Southeast D.C. He is also being charged with misdemeanor cruelty to animals. The announcement was made by U.S. Attorney Matthew M. Graves and Chief Pamela Smith of the Metropolitan Police Department. Rattigan made his initial appearance before Superior Court Magistrate Judge Renee Raymond today, where he was ordered held without bond pending a preliminary hearing on February 29, 2024, before Judge Maybeth Raffanin. According to court documents, on February 14, 2024, officers from the Metropolitan Police Department responded to Rattigan's residence in the 5000 block of Hannah Place Southeast to execute an arrest warrant because of a complaint of animal cruelty. That warrant stemmed from an incident in April 2023 in which Rattigan was captured by a security camera beating one of his dogs several times in the face. On January 12, 2024, an animal control investigator visited the residence to address the issue of the number of animals on the property and the need for a permit. Previously on January 8, 2024, a Humane Society officer visited Rattigan's residence to address the issue of inhumane living conditions for the animals based on complaints received. On the day of arrest, law enforcement officers entry into the home, Rattigan opened fire, shooting and striking several officers. Rattigan barricaded himself inside the residence for more than 12 hours until he was taken into custody later in the day. After the arrest, authorities removed 31 dogs from his home. The law enforcement officers who were struck are all currently in stable condition. This case is being investigated by the Metropolitan Police Department. It is being prosecuted by Assistant U.S. Attorney Matthew Goldstein. Thank you for joining us and watching our crime videos. Maybe now is a good time to subscribe below. Help us to grow to 50,000 strong on the YouTube network.
Very good morning to you. Welcome. My name is Hartley. How you doing? This is Crime Vlog Weekly, Sunday morning. Right, time for breakfast time here. We're here at the hotel, just about to get breakfast. How you doing? It's been a very late night. Got in probably about 3:30, 4 o'clock this morning. Had 2 or 3 hours sleep. Now ready for work. It's the YouTube work. Looking very nice here. Looking forward to having some mushrooms, sausages, and of course some bacon, of course, hash brown. This is the morning after. Yes guys, I had an unfortunate night yesterday evening. I was on my way to London and the car broke down and I had to call the AA Automobile Services to get me going again. They took about 2 hours to come and that changed all my plans for the evening. Last night was supposed to be a celebration, a 50th celebration for the Grenada. That's 50 years of independence, and that's where we were going to celebrate. As I said, the car put a bit of hamper on that and we got delayed for about 3 hours, but still we got there about 8:30 in the night eventually. We had to catch a cab all the way to West London, and then eventually we make it to the 50th independence. I'll give you a few shots of that a little bit later. Hello. Nice little ducklings there. pretty. Yes, so here I am the morning after. This is the hotel. We got in late this morning, probably about 3:30 late this morning. Still tired, but I do have a lot of YouTube work to do. I've got a lot of editing. I also need to catch up on the latest press releases, and I'll give you an update on that coming up. There is one I just briefly looked at, and there was a shooting up there in Haringey where a man got shot, and he was seriously injured. So they're appealing for any witnesses for that shooting up there in Haringey. I'm gonna say keep guns off the streets. Not good at all. Not good at all. It's another blustery, chilly day here in West London, but we prod on. This is the view of where we're staying. Yeah, we had a fantastic night down there at the Grenada 50th anniversary. Met lots of people I haven't seen for years and years and years and years. It's a great night, great food, 100% enjoyed it, love it. Definitely looking forward to going there again for the 51st. Not sure if it's going to be at the same venue, but definitely looking forward to going to the 51st anniversary of Grenada independence on next year for 2025. Once again, welcome to Crime Vlog Weekly. My name is Hartley. Nice to have you on this Sunday morning. Beautiful morning here in West London. As I keep saying, the night after. Beautiful morning here in West London. As I keep saying, it's the morning after. This area here is called Stockley Park. This is a business area. This is a business area very close to Heathrow Airport. It's called Stockley Park. That's over there. That's the hotel over there. That's the Travel Lodge. That's it. That's where I stayed last night after the Grenada 50th anniversary. So beautiful place, very relaxing. I was hoping to get some sun out today, but there's no sun. It's if you look up there, it's very clouded, very clouded. But I'm enjoying the views here in Stockley Park. If you ever get the opportunity, do come to Stockley Park. This area here, it's very relaxing. Check it out here by the lake. The closest hotel here is the Travel Lodge. There you go. There you go. Don't worry, I'm not gonna harm you. This one looked as though he was ready to attack me. Oh dear, oh dear. There we go. Hope you guys are having a great day today. At the moment, I'm waiting for the mechanic. We have to travel approximately 60 miles up north to where the car is. He's going to have a look at it. I think we've got lots of transmission oil popping out, so we'll have to sort that out. Not sure how much it's going to cost me. I got a bit lost then. Here's the main entrance. Yes, we've got transmission oil coming out, so we'll have to definitely get that sorted out. So looking forward to my mechanic coming. Well, that's it from me, Hartley. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Hello and welcome to this Sunday morning over here in West London. This area is called Stockley Park. How you doing? My name is Hartley and this is Crime Vlog Weekly, bringing you all the latest updates as well as my progress in building this YouTube channel, Crime Vlog Weekly.
Our content creator had a night off yesterday to celebrate the 50th Independence Anniversary dance in Harrow, northwest London. Here is a few clips of the big night. Here is the latest crime news updates. Detectives are appealing for information and witnesses after a murder in Hackney. Police were called at 22:53 p.m. on Saturday, the 17th of February, to a male stabbed in Hackney Road near the junction with Kramer Street, E2. Officers and London Ambulance Service attended the scene and found a 17-year-old male suffering stab injuries. Despite their efforts, he sadly died at the scene. His family have been informed and will be supported by specialist officers. Detective Chief Superintendent James Conway, who leads policing in Hackney and Tower Hamlets, said, "My thoughts are with the family of the young person who has tragically lost his life. I can assure them that we will be relentless in seeking to identify whoever was responsible for this murder." Cordons are in place in Hackney Road for forensic examination of the scene, and we have launched what will be an extremely thorough investigation, supported by specialists from across the Met. Local people will also see additional patrols in Shoreditch. If you have any concerns or information, please speak with those officers. They are there to support you. Post-mortem examination and formal identification will be arranged in due course. There has been no arrest at this early stage. Anyone with information and any witnesses yet to speak with police are asked to call 101, Ref 7553, 17 February. Maybe now is a good time to like and subscribe below, help us to expand our reach on the YouTube network. A Met investigation into a domestic assault has led to the recovery of 2 firearms and a man being charged with firearms offences. In the early hours of the 3rd of February, officers spotted a BMW car linked to a man who they wanted to trace in connection with an assault on a female in northwest London. The car failed to stop for police. A bag was thrown from the car in Plough Way, SE16, and a short time later 2 people made off from the car on foot. Although they managed to get away, a loaded firearm was safely recovered from the bag. Inquiries continued at pace, and a search of an address in Lewisham on the 16th of February led to the recovery of a second loaded firearm. 2 men were arrested. One of them, aged 24, was subsequently charged with offences including possession of a firearm with intent to endanger life and possession of ammunition. The second man, aged in his 50s, was bailed pending further inquiries. Detectives are appealing for witnesses and information after a man was injured in a shooting at a bar in Enfield. Police are investigating the shooting, which happened at 1:40 p.m. on Tuesday, the 13th of February, at the Cora Lounge in Alma Road, EN3. Police were called to the incident. However, the victim was identified at 2:25 p.m. that morning after emergency services were called to the injured man at a location in Haringey. The man, aged in his 30s, was taken to hospital where he remains in a critical condition. The man's family have been informed. An investigation is underway and detectives would like to hear from anyone with information about the shooting. Detective Inspector David Hickford, from the investigation team, said, "This shooting has left a man seriously injured and we have carried out extensive inquiries since the attack to establish what happened. We know many people were in the bar at the time and many have not come forward. They may have information that could be vital to our investigation and I urge them to come forward." Police are searching for a suspect Sunday after at least 3 people were shot at a bar in Harlem early Sunday morning. Police said 3 men were shot, a 46-year-old in the left thigh and a 39-year-old, also a 21-year-old, were both shot in the right leg. They are listed in stable condition. Police spent Sunday morning and afternoon coming in and out of the late-night bar. New York police have released an image of the 3rd teenager wanted after Monday's deadly shooting at a Bronx subway station. The NYPD says 15-year-old Maurice Stewart is wanted in connection to the shooting. An innocent bystander was killed and 5 others were hurt when shots rang out at the Mount Eden Avenue train station during the Monday evening rush. Police say the shooting started over a gang dispute. A 16-year-old was arraigned Friday night on murder charges. A 14-year-old was also arrested, but his charges stemmed from an earlier shooting in the Bronx, police said. Washington, Sasha McCoy, 27, of Washington, D.C., was arrested on February 15, 2024, on the charge of first-degree felony murder in the death of her 3-year-old daughter on October 28, 2022, U.S. Attorney Matthew M. Graves announced. Defendant McCoy was arraigned on February 16 in D.C. Superior Court, where she entered a plea of not guilty to first-degree murder and first-degree cruelty to children for allegedly allowing her child to ingest a lethal dose of fentanyl. The Honorable Renee Raymond found probable cause that the defendant committed the murder and held her without bond pending her preliminary hearing on March 8, before Judge Brandt in Courtroom 201. In announcing the arrest, U.S. Attorney Graves commended the work of those investigating the case from the Metropolitan Police Department, MPD, and Assistant United States Attorney Emma MacArthur for her efforts in prosecuting this case. An arrest on a complaint is merely a formal charge that a defendant has committed a violation of criminal laws, and every defendant is presumed innocent until, and unless, proven guilty.
Well, that's it from me, Hartley. I'll see you on the next video. Thank you very much for watching, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button and share this video. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.